Hi, my name is Khushbu Gupta. I am an interior designer and an artist. I am 37 years old. I am living in Calcutta, and the age of my child is 4, a son. And I'm living with my husband and my baby in a small apartment in Calcutta.
Hi, I'm Adwaita. I have a brand called Studio Metallurgy, which makes jewelry and products. Although I've rolled back on the products a lot, and I'm mostly doing jewelry given the work from home situation, and it's just more doable. I'm based out of Gurgaon, and when the pandemic started, my baby was 7 months, 6 months, and now we just turned a year this month. My husband's in the US. We were hoping to have moved together to India as a family, but I don't think there are any jobs in the offing anytime soon. So we're doing single parenting across the sort of globe.
Hi everyone, I'm Pooja and I am mother to a 13-year-old Vivan. So I'm working with NAL as a HR manager, and apart from that, I also do tarot. And Vivan lost his father in 2009 in an air crash. He was a pilot in the Air Force. So I'm a single parent and I'm staying with my parents here in Bangalore.
Hi, I'm Parvati. I work as a freelance legal content editor and researcher. I was working and then I got pregnant, so I had to discontinue because I had to be on rest. So right now I'm not working. I live in Kolkata. I recently gave birth to my daughter in the month of June.
I think, like, for me, the pain points are like putting on these multiple faces throughout the day. Sometimes you're like the friend, then you have to teach your kids, you're the teacher, then you're the planner of the house, you're the organizer, you're the cook. So it's just like, those multiple jobs that you're handling at home apart from your own work. But there is also, I feel like, a silver lining. Like, I think we all needed to slow down. Like, we were just going at a really fast pace, and there were so many classes kids were going to. Every mother was like, acha, oh, you're sending for French classes, fine. This one's going for ballet, this one's going for storytelling. Oh, Sunday also, let's put this in, put that in. So I think at some level, all that is gone. And it's kind of like a relief because I didn't know how energy consuming that was.
So for me, I think the fact that Suhas, my husband, was in the US and I had just returned back to India with a 6-month baby and my mom, who sort of flew back to Oman. That's where my parents live, on the 8th of March. For me, I really missed having anybody around because when there's a small baby, it's just nice to see everybody indulge the baby and have everybody see the milestones and engage in it and just enjoy it, as opposed to me constantly doing FaceTime. So all this while, the poor baby has just been exposed to constant screen time, because that's the only way I can be like, hi mom, look, he's sitting, hi Sohasi, he's eating. The only silver lining, I think, is that, for someone like me who I really, really like what I do, and I think my brain is constantly working towards what I can do next work-wise, it forced me, I think, to just sit down and stick it out with the Martya, which wasn't a bad deal, because I'm pretty sure if there was no such compulsion of staying at home with him without any help, I would have probably palmed him off to somebody and said, you know what, I'm just off to do something or the other, and I have work and I have this and I have that. And it would have felt like it is so much more important to do. And the last 3 or 4 months, I think, really made me realize that if, for instance, I didn't come up with a new collection, I don't think anybody cares. Nobody cares if Studio Metallurgy comes up with the next new collection or not. But yes, Amartya does care if I play with him or if I don't play with him. And he ends up being a happier kid.
Yeah, so for me, I was actually looking for a break, I was looking to slow down. So, break means not a holiday, but to slow down. Because I usually take a holiday once in 3 months, 4 months, and we go out, we travel, and we go for picnics and all. But then when this thing happened, it's like the life stopped, the world stopped, and there was a shift in the energy. Like, the roads were empty, and the energy changed. It became very yin. So it was a big relief for me, because as Khushbu also said, there's so many things, you know, you put in Saturday classes, Sunday class, and badminton, and coding, so many things they have been doing, but then all that stopped. And the negative part was, of course, you had to do all the work yourself. But then, you know, something was good in that also, because we could connect to our roots, like, you know, washing the utensils, jharu, pocha, वो सब अपना अपने आप करना था. And that was where, you know, I learned a lot, and I taught Vivan also. It was very good, actually. So I see a lot of silver lining in the whole thing, you know, this, because the life was going very fast, and then it was like a relief for everybody. Though you were doing the work, our workload had increased, but then at the same time, you know, I was not going out anywhere, I was not driving my car, I was just staying at home and doing all the things within the four walls.
Like I said, the pandemic started in the third trimester of my pregnancy. So I was pretty much at home around that time. So it did not affect me in terms of, you know, not being able to go out, because I was not going out anyway. Uh, but of course, the the first 6 months, they were pretty much smooth sailing, because I could go out to, you know, my doctor's appointments and things like that. In the last 3 months, things became very challenging. Firstly, I had to keep myself very safe. And then, of course, moving out, appointments and things like that became such a challenge. But also, the good part of it was that I had my husband around 24/7. I still have him around. So that was a good part. He was there for me, and he was able to take care of me. So that was a good experience. Also, I live with my uh with 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 a family. Like, I live with my in-laws, who are very supportive otherwise.
Yeah. So actually, I look forward. So every evening we take a drive, and my husband gets a takeaway from a coffee shop. And while he is doing that, me and Kabir walk along the path. It's a beautiful road with lots of trees, and we actually pick up leaves. And he tells me, maybe you should draw this next, maybe you should paint this one. And the road has these little lanes going in, so he acts like a bandit, and I'm like the cop running after him. So I think it's about just lasts about like 5-10 minutes this walk, but I really look forward to it during the day because he also energizes. It's under the trees. It's a bit of a change, and we wear our masks and all that, and we don't really want to meet other people. But it's just both of us, and I actually like the fact that my husband is not there that time. It's just me and him. Like there is nobody else. I know he's busy and he's not going to run after us or anything. So just it's a nice time that I have with him because I'm also not stressed. He's also not stressed because at home, you're taking care of so many other things that undivided attention is rare.
So for me, I think it's the mornings, the good ones, where he just wakes up and he's all happy, and it goes into this ta 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 and ba 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 and mama man. It lasts exactly 5 minutes, and then then we start the fight of please have milk, please have breakfast, please let's take a bath, please can I have my breakfast, and the day goes downhill up until I think the evening. So yeah, that's that. And then by night, it's the same thing. Once he's done with his bath, instead of calming down and cooling down, going to sleep and be sleepy, he ends up becoming super energetic. So we run around the house a while longer up until at 9:30. I say, come on, let's stop it and let's go to sleep. So those are the 10 minutes morning and evening. The rest of the day, I'd happily sort of pay him to just go to somebody else. Let me do some work.
For me, what has happened is the entire thing in the pandemic, it has shifted what I've been looking forward to doing with him. When it started, it was more of the food we we wanted to eat, because now we could not go out anywhere. So we would do everything at home. Like I taught him baking. So now he can make a very basic chocolate cake. Then we would make pizzas at home. We would make a pizza base also. So, we learned all those things. And then gradually we shifted over to painting. We would He would lead me into meditation also. Sometimes he would lead me for some of those dumbbell exercises where he's trying to learn it from his friends, and then he would teach me, okay, mama, you do this and I'm going to count. And that's what we would do.
So obviously, since the pandemic, screen times have increased to almost double or triple. We all are indoors, and it's kind of, they have more of these tantrums that they're throwing, and they also kind of know, they're very, very smart. They know that, she's going to do anything I say, because she's not letting me go out, she's not letting me meet my friends. So they're really smart at that also. Tries to get everything out of me. Okay, now give me a chocolate, or like, let me watch this. And he kind of knows that I let him do that because there is no other way out. But I think in return, it's definitely made the kid a lot more anxious, a lot more cranky. And also, like, I feel the need for him to connect to other people. I can see that. So even if you're in the elevator, if there was somebody, he would never say hello or something. But now he's like, hello, hello, randomly. He'll just be saying hello to people. So I think, like, it's kind of sad though, but they do want to connect to other people. And the minute they see another human being, they get really, really excited. So I hope they can soon play with other kids. But yeah, the anxiousness and the crankiness has increased for my kid for sure.
I think in my case, I am so happy Amartya was 6 months on the pandemic kid, because the bugger doesn't know what the outside world is about. So he's more than happy that there is one mama, and the mama is available 24/7. There is nobody else.
Okay, so what I have noticed is a change in the behavior. I think he's become more calmer. Because after seeing all this, whatever is happening around, like, he knows the value of cleanliness. He knows the value of how important it is to wash hands, because like, all those advertisements and all would keep coming. So he's now like, every nook and every moment he's like, okay, I'll go and use some astringent, I'll go and wash my hands. And it is their age, like, he's 13. So he knows the importance also. Okay, agar nahi rakhoge, if you are not keeping yourself clean, then what can happen? So yeah, I think so. And then calmer, I said, because yeah, the screen time has increased, but then like, mixing with friends has slightly decreased, though now they are going in the evening and they are playing because restrictions are not there. But it has taught them. So
I think you were
it's
the only one who's actually taken the pandemic to another level
yeah.
of learning.
I'm seeing so much of silver lining. I'm also shocked.
I'm telling you, you're the enlightened content right there.
I think one thing is, like, that's caught up is self-care. I know it was already there. I know we knew we had to do that. But somehow in this middle of this whole COVID situation and this multitasking and all, I think moms know that they need to, exercise, and they do need to take care for themselves and take out some time. I was talking to a few moms, and now, like, everyone's getting a little earlier before their husbands and their kids to just get their little bit of me time, the most peaceful time before anything starts, to to go get through with the day. So that's one. And the second one I noticed, that was in the beginning of the pandemic when we were all under lockdown, was this sort of a quarantine competition that was going on between moms. I don't know if it's happening between the older ones or the younger ones, but it was just like, who's having a better quarantine with their kids. Like, so it was all about, oh, I did gardening with my kids, I plucked leaves, I played here, I went here, and this is what my kid made. So there was like 30-day challenge. Moms were posting like, this is the activity I did. We made a duck. So it was just, and then I also, kind of ran into that whole bandwagon. So I also did my bit, and I was also like, yes, I'm going to have the most successful quarantine and very, very productive. We baked, we cooked. I don't know what all I did. And after like 15, 20 days, I was like, you know what? I need to step down. This is not healthy.
The only thing I did was be like, This one started walking at 9 and mine is beginning to stand at 10. He's just fat, or too big. So,
Yeah.
but other than that, no, I think the only thing I did during the quarantine with respect to other moms is genuinely, I think I was waiting for the 8th month, 9th month to roll in back in Jan Feb, because back then I had hoped to be part of these mom toddler groups in order to actually create a circle of other people in the city, because at some point it's sort of like the only Wikipedia in order to get resources, and I'm the backbencher. I don't know nothing unless and until I see somebody else do it. So I would have very nicely gone to these groups just to cheat off the other mom's hard work and be like, "You're doing this. I'm just following the lead now."
Well, for me, during this time, luckily for me, I had a few friends who were also pregnant at the same time with me. So, of course, I was very anxious before I gave birth to my child as to how I would go about things, and so I connected with these, to-be mothers, and also a few of my friends who were mothers to say 1 year old or 2 year old children. So so I made it a point to we made it a point to kind of stay connected and exchange notes. So that's one thing I did preparatory to my becoming a mother. And the other thing that I noticed was that there was a sort of unity, because there was a time in between where Amazon and all these online portals, they were not delivering any baby clothes and other things. So uh, we received a lot of I personally received a lot of support from my friends who had sort of given birth already, say, a year ago, and they had clothes to spare, they had things to spare. So I kind of got that support. So it helped to stay connected, and it kind of it really helped in the sense that I was worrying so much about how I would get resources at a time like this. But then, and in the end, I had enough clothes, I had enough, baby accessories and things like that and I really didn't have to worry about ordering anything at right at the beginning. So I think connecting and sort of with other mothers and kind of helped. It helped me mentally also to get on.
To add to that point, I
Yeah.
think I was able to actually make Amartya live out of 6 leggings and about 7 onesies for good
Right.
4 months. So that was amazing.
Since I do two different kind of things, the one that is on the computer, if he's around, I can still manage the interior design bit and taking calls and all. But sometimes like painting with him gets a bit difficult, because they also want to paint and he also wants to jump in. So it's kind of cute that he wants to do it, but at that time focusing is very, very difficult, because you're looking at one thing, then you're looking, where is he going? Is he like, going to get hurt? Is he like, the mind is running in different directions. So I work best when he's sleeping or when he's away, like my husband's taken him or something like that. So I mean, I don't think working with the kid around helps me. So no.
In my opinion, too. I mean, offices were created for a reason. You needed
Yeah.
individuals to actually come outside of their houses to work, make you money, make themselves money, and go back home and have a family life. So, all the people who say work from home is lovely don't have kids. I mean, come on, for
Yeah.
real. Have you ever heard of a guy, of a man, of a father saying, "Ooh, work from home"? We're like, no, dude. Like, we are working from home. Please keep the door shut. Have you ever heard of a mother saying, "I'm sorry, I'm working from home. Keep the door shut"? Doesn't happen.
Never happens.
Doesn't
Never
happen.
happens.
It's this very strange assumption that work from home is so beautiful. You engage with the child. All the dads are loving it. Of course, they're loving it.
I
How many of
also
them how many of them are multitasking their Excel sheets and lunch and kid and painting and all of that?
I also feel like in the Indian society, as I keep talking to more and more people, if a guy is working, the kid cannot go near him. Absolute silence. अरे वो
Yeah.
काम कर रहा है. The in-laws also are like, उसको disturb मत करो, वो काम कर रहा है. But if you're working, maid will also come, or like somebody else will come, the mother-in-law will come, the kid will come. So it's all like a mix. So I
That's
think
so true. I have to agree there.
it's not nice. I mean, you get angry from within that what my work is not important.
It's not.
and
It's not.
you
Yeah.
as an identity, you just feel very distributed amongst multiple people. I feel, I don't know. Women are educated at a level that they can bring equal amount of money if they want to, but there is just so much other responsibilities around.
Yes.
Like if I was working 10, 12 hours a day every day without thinking of anything else, I think I can make the same amount of money. It's just that I'm putting everything on an equal level: money, family, baby, husband, like everything.
Absolutely. No, it's true, because it's one of the discussions I've had so often, whether it's with parents or with my husband or with another person who's getting married, is that it's so odd that you educate the boy and the girl at the same pace in school and college, but after that you keep putting the girl 2 steps back
Yeah.
every year. She'll get married. It's almost like 1 year of your sort of a life, unless you're in a, say, corporate job wherein you take maybe a month off and you go back, and some, you get your standard pay scale. You end up taking a setback. Then you make a kid, and oh my god, what motherhood is wonderful, but you also take about a year or two of a step back, whether it is because you wanted to, whether it is because you didn't have whatever the reasons being, you do take it. Your office treats you differently, your job opportunities treat you differently. When was the last time you ever had a wonderful father not do a night trip out for a job because the project demanded it? But a mom is going to possibly say, I'm not doing any project that take me out of the house for even a night for the next, say, 2 years of my life.
Yeah.
AKA means you don't get the same job opportunities because you just feel like so much more responsible.
Also, you lose touch with the industry. You take like a 3-year break. When you want to get back, your confidence level is not the same like it used to be, and you're a different person altogether. It's very difficult, I feel.
Yeah. You're always rushing back home because you have to get back home because somebody's got to organize dinner.
Yeah.
So if I were to ask Sahas to make dinner, he'll make it. He'll be very sweet about it, but he'll make khichdi.
And also, that lasts only for 1 or 2 days.
Because then it's like, yeah, it's okay. I had dal. I'm like, excuse me, what happened to, like, if I were around, you'd get sabzi also and dal also and roti also. And it's not like you have to tell me that. It just automatically happens. So why is it like swapping? And this is after me being fortunate enough to have a lovely husband.
Yeah.
So it's a different wiring.
For me, as I said, that I've been working from home for a long time now. I've been freelancing, so I work from home anyway. So my family members are kind of they've adapted to it, more or less. So right now I'm not thinking of working. I planned that I'd go back to it, when my kid is like about 6 months. So I'm hoping I can do that, but I'm not sure. I'm in two minds. I'm really not sure as to what I will do.
I think in my case, I've sort of been like, if he gets sick, I hope he doesn't. If he gets sick, it's easier. I can take care of him. But if I get sick, then who's taking care of the kid? So more than between the kid and me, if I ever had to choose, I'll just be like, okay, I hope to God, you can get sick. It's fine. I'll look after you. You're young. You'll get over it. You'll cry a little. You get some candy. If I fall sick, then you're screwed.
Yeah, so I basically, Vivan knew that he has to use his as stringent. He has to wash his hands whenever he would go out, and of course he's very particular about putting his mask and things and all. So I taught him that, and he's following those things, and all of his friends are also following. So
Yeah, I think the struggle to keep my 2.5-month-old safe has been the most stressful part of this time, because she's so little, and everything. I think washing my hands before and after touching her, and sanitizing my hands, making sure anybody who touches her sanitizes their hands. It's just so much of nitty-gritty to look to, and that's very stressful. I think every time I have to take her out for her vaccinations and things like that, I get doubly stressed. Like I wish there was someone to come home and give her a vaccination actually, and I wouldn't have to step out. So, and she's so little, so and it really pains me to tell people not to come over to see her. And you know like I said, we haven't even had like immediate family over to see her. I could only go back home. I went back home to show her to my parents only after 2 months, because I'm been so scared to step out with her. So yeah,
No, but
so I
is
think
you
that
have to be very careful because the kids' immunity is also very low at that
yeah,
time.
yeah, it's very, I mean,
So
she has no immunity, so to speak. I mean,
yeah,
her vaccinations are not given, and she has really no immunity as such.
yeah. So
So
even when my Vivan was small, I would like wash his utensils so often, and that
right,
time it was like no COVID. But now you have to be very, very careful.
very careful. Even with sterilizing her stuff and everything, I think I over sterilize her bottles, but then I'm so scared. And so yeah, definitely it's the most stressful part of being a parent right now, and being a parent to such a young child, a baby, in fact. So that definitely is the most stressful part.
It's also interesting that the kids also know that there is coronavirus, and he
Yeah,
also knows that the minute he enters a house, he has to like wash his hands, and washing hands is better than sanitizer, and he understands that you only use a sanitizer when you can't wash your hands. And also, I think, like, cartoons like Peppa Pig and all these, a few others, they have these videos of washing your hands, and I think that's like good in a way, because they see them in, whatever they see through these cartoons registers with them for a longer period of time. You
Definitely,
can keep
definitely.
saying ye karo, but the minute they see it, they're like, okay, fine. So I think, yeah, everyone's trying hard.
Yeah.
Meditating for 10 minutes. I put on this thing on
Yeah, you want to
YouTube,
do this?
10 minutes calming meditation. And I know those 10 minutes I'll calm down. That's the only way, no other way.
I'm not keeping sane. I make videos and I rant and I vent and I say, these children, what was this joy of motherhood? I'm awaiting. Let me know when I find out. I will ring a bell.
I think for me is listening to music and doing my yoga, my quick 15 to 20-minute yoga. That's it. Yeah. That I'm trying to keep myself sane with that. I don't know I can carry it on till when, but that's what I'm doing right now.
well, as a new mother, the only way I keep myself sane is to involve everybody. So I don't take it upon myself to be a super mom. So I ask my husband to fill in whenever he can, or if I'm too tired, I just hand the baby over to her grandmom. So I don't take it upon myself to do everything on my own. I used to do it in the beginning, and then I it got very stressful. So I think that's one thing I do. I don't try to be anything great. I just when I can't handle it, I ask for help. So that's how I keep myself sane. Other than that, I try to read books online, and even when I'm breastfeeding, in fact, I try to read or watch something on the internet, just to, because once I sit to feed her, it's a 1 hour process, it's a 1.5 hour process.
Yeah.
So I kind of keep myself engaged.
So what I did was when
About
there was no maid who was coming, I would do jhadu pocha in like I would put a timer, 10 minutes for jhadu and 10 minutes for pocha, and then I was like, ये जल्दी जल्दी खत्म करके आगे बढ़ना है. So that is what I did. I used to time myself for my house cleaning activities. Yeah, that's all. It was
I
not.
keep reading that make schedules and you will be much happier, but I somehow can never stick to them. Yeah, it doesn't happen. You don't know which direction the kid will go through. So I think just let it be. Lower your bar a little at this time. Like, don't be so picky about it. If they're having more screen time, let them have it, because you also need to have a peace of mind. Like, So I think just let it be for some time.
I
That's
agree. I think that's the only thing, because it's not one of those short-term battles. It's a very long-term war plan.
yeah.
So when you do long-term war plans, you conserve energy.
Yeah.
So in my case, I think the last 1 year as a mom, the two things I think I hold very close to my heart. One, this pressure that is through doctors, through everybody who thinks that it's something that you must tell a person. Breastfeeding versus formula. dude, you don't know what the thing is. Maybe she doesn't make enough milk. Maybe she doesn't want to. Maybe she can't. Whatever the hell it is. Just back off and don't do this sentence of breast is best. Formula chura do. Or, are you doing breastfeeding? High five. I mean, it's really, really not for you to say. And just 1 second, he's eating mud.
Was it yummy?
Yeah, so I think that's one taboo that I think doctors pressurize you as well. And I say this from personal experience. I got mastitis right out of the hospital, so I wasn't able to feed him because I just medically couldn't. But I remember feeling the guilt, wherein in retrospect later on, I don't think I needed to have put myself through that. He fed through the breast and he had a bit of formula, and then that's what they do, and they grew up just fine. I don't know why, especially when doctors and health professionals do this. And the fact that it is written so boldly on the formula bottle, breast is best.
I don't like the fact that you're expected to know everything automatically about your child. Why is she crying? Why is she not sleeping? You know, so there are all these questions asked, and I don't know everything
Okay.
all the time, and somehow that is not looked upon, very kindly, and that is something that I have a problem with. I think I'm also a new mother, so not knowing something is absolutely okay. Not knowing what the problem is, okay, but then you're judged for not knowing at times, and that I think is unfair.
I just wanted to add that we, as mother of boys,
Yeah.
I think should try and raise our kids in a way that like they don't see disparity between men and women. I know it's a little off topic, but we as mother of boys need to tell them that cooking is just not my job, and it's our responsibility to instill these things in them. Because for instance, my kid, when I went to my mom cooks. He started thinking that my mom is the cook of the house, so he started calling her by the name of a cook that I have in Cali.
Oh.
Is she Sharuti now? I was like, no, So I think we need to teach our kids also a little better and not let them see how women are treated in a household and change that bit.
Correct.